by magic come to life. I was standing in the sunshine, waiting for better days, as if all I'd ever wanted were coming on the next train. Take every chance you can possibly take, and chase every dream you have ever believed in. Treat every moment as if it's the last. What are you waiting for? Just believe. Just believe. Just believe. Believe in me. It's easier said than done. Believing. When I was 6 years old, my parents sent me to piano lessons. They sent me to lessons because for years I'd been jumping around on the pedals of my grandmother's organ and bashing the keys, and they needed the noise to make more sense. I discovered that I could create sound, and that sound said something that I needed to say. It was my sound. I made it, I controlled it, and I wanted more. Every kid has a dream. Concert pianist, opera singer, rock chick, heart on her sleeve singer-songwriter. With me, it's always been music. I've always known what the odds are. Making it is like winning the lottery. Talent and opportunity are no guarantee. But dreams don't care about the odds. We're told that the worst thing about getting old is regret, and that it's better to look back on your life and regret the things you have done rather than those you haven't. So why is following a dream something that only brave people do? I wasted so many years pretending that dreaming was enough. So many years sitting on the sidelines, waiting to arrive, hoping someday I would find me and by magic come to life. Being responsible and paying the bills, hating everything about 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and trudging through music after hours, if at all, as if that was ever going to be enough. Believe is a song that I wrote when I quit my day job to pursue music full-time, and it's a song that reminds me why I do what I do. I've received countless messages about this song, saying that I've inspired the listener to dream, to believe, and to finally jump. And I do love that I inspire people, but I shouldn't be an exception. We're constantly reminded to pursue our passions, to be everything you can be, as if it's a revolutionary concept that you only live once. But dreaming is easy. Believing is a little harder. The really hard thing is turning that belief into action. So what holds us back? The most common answer is fear. And people are afraid of all kinds of things. Afraid of what they could lose, what they could gain, success, failure, it's a long list. Fear is an indicator, like a built-in warning system. The funny thing is, it's usually indicating something you should be doing, not necessarily something you shouldn't. But we so often use it as an excuse to govern the decisions that we make. We fear failure because we think it will define us as something. And it does. It defines you as someone who tried. And once you failed a few times, you realize that failure isn't the big bad ending you thought it was going to be. If you take away the finite ending, the whole game changes. This city is filled with faceless dreamers, all running to find their piece of ground. I had my dreams all packed, up and ready, waiting for a miracle to come and find me here. 4 years ago, I quit my day job, recorded an album, got in my car, and started touring. Not because I'm brave or inspired, but because I realized that I had become a non-person. I had quit music altogether. I wasn't even doing it after hours anymore. I got stuck in routine and commitment and responsibility and obligation. Not following my dream was easier, safer. But I suddenly realized that if I didn't do it now, I probably never would. And the fear of that, of never being who you are, is more terrifying than any consequence of trying or failing or succeeding. Fear is a construct of the imagination. It's a rational process that we facilitate in order to explain our way out of things that are uncomfortable or challenging. It's like our mind's way of preparing us for battle. Just as you rationalize your way into fear, you can rationalize your way out of it. What I realized looking back at how I was able to jump in the first place is that I used my fear as leverage. My fear of failure is outweighed by my fear of disappointing other people. So I told everyone that I was recording an album and that I was going to do music full time. I built a website and created a fan page and made my dream intention public knowledge. This abstract construct only exists when you decide it does. So just as a performer uses their stage fright or vulnerability as emotional fuel for a performance, you can turn your fear into a driving force instead of looking for excuses to justify non-action. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Yeah, it does. And then there are a whole lot of steps that follow. And depending on what you're doing, not a whole lot of them are going to be easy. The first step is hard. It's unfamiliar and terrifying. The step you take right after you fail for the first time is just as hard. And the step you take just after the second is harder still, and you'll take 1,001 more hard steps and need to keep reminding yourself why you jumped. So how do you stay brave? Music is an industry based on perception, but behind the smoke and mirrors, things are not always what they seem. I wrote an article for Rolling Stone magazine last year titled "Living the Dream, but Not Making a Living." It was a story about being everything I've ever wanted to be while losing the real world battle. I'm a full-time musician, a recording artist. I have albums and endorsement deals. I've played almost every mainstream festival in South Africa. I've been playlisted here and in Europe. I have a dance production being staged at the Playhouse in Durban based on my music. I've won awards and have an international career. It looks very good on paper. But behind the hype, the fight to make this dream a sustainable reality isn't working. And at the end of last year, I was a broken, jaded, and hopeless mess. A slow corruption over time and countless hard steps had redefined my dream into a set of goals that had nothing to do with why I jumped. Sales, attendance, recognition, and account balances. Business. These are not the stuff of dreams. But when they didn't measure up to what reality requires, I was battling to find reasons to fight it all because I'd forgotten why I was fighting. My success was being defined in terms that don't actually measure the thing that makes me happy. Music. If you become jaded enough by the fight and then start measuring your success in rands and cents, your original objectives are going to be completely lost in the noise. So on one side, I have seemingly insurmountable brick wall of reality. And on the other, I have falling out of love with everything I've ever wanted to be. Reality versus the dream. which one do you fix first? Waiting for the script to tell me how to be, dreaming of a version somehow better than my own, staring into space as if we have the time to spare, trying to find the answer in someone else's smile. It floored me how many people responded to that Rolling Stone article saying that I should just give up and get a real job. No matter how jaded I become or how hopeless I may feel, my brain still says that this is what I do. This is what I am, a professional dreamer. It doesn't give me an option to quit. So at the beginning of this year, I stopped touring and I stopped trying to make money. And I tried to remember why I jumped. One of my biggest dreams has been to play with an orchestra, and 3 months ago, I found myself sitting in rehearsal with an orchestra for the first time, and I cried as they started playing, because I felt like I could breathe again. My car was running on fumes, and I couldn't pay my rent. But in that moment, I fell in love with just making sound again. The reason that you stay is exactly the same reason that made you jump in the first place. Because that 6-year-old kid jumping around on the organ pedals says that you must. We live in an age where mind-blowing things are possible. Human beings achieve greatness on a daily basis, so how are we still stuck in the mindset that fighting with every ounce of your being for who you are and what you want is not the realistic choice? People tend to equate living your dream with superstar levels of performance and recognition, like Fortune 500 companies and rock stars and Oscar-winning actors. Those marks of distinction don't define your success. Not every person who has a dream to leave their mark on the world is going to be world-renowned, but that doesn't devalue their mark. Success is not about how the story ends. It's about the story itself. So my success, my worth on the dream scale, is never going to be about how well I'm doing financially or how many marks of distinction I can write in my artist biography. It's about those moments that make me feel like a kid with a big dream who gets to do what she's always wanted to do. And that's why I stay. Because my brain says that this is who I am. This is what I do. Like breathing. And because those moments, like hearing my music played by an orchestra for the first time, or playing my first gig in London, or hearing that my music spoke for someone who couldn't find their own words, those moments are like air. Human beings are a resilient bunch. You will fall and get up and fall and get up, and just when you think you can't, you'll make it through again. We're stronger than we think and capable of more than we allow ourselves to believe. The reality is that I do have to pay my rent at some point. And I can wax lyrical about believing and dreaming and pursuing passions all I want. Just being a grown-up is hard. The least you can do is something that makes you happy. Whether it works for anyone else is irrelevant. Whether it fits with the real world is irrelevant. If it makes you happy, you should do it. It actually is that simple. Not easy, simple. In reality, not everyone can follow their dream, but you should try. I remember the feeling that I had when I wrote my first song. I remember thinking that I want to do this forever. I'm not brave or inspiring. I just remember a little girl sitting at a piano thinking that this is everything she wants to be. And 26 years later, This is everything that I want to be. I don't care how hard it is. I can't pretend that it doesn't affect me. But I carry on because I have to. Because my brain says it's who I am. Because I have no choice but to believe that I can. Because it is who I am. Because I must. There's so many dreamers waiting for that piece of sky. There's so many hopeless waiting for their wings to fly. There's no better moment than right